I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed.
And a child shall lead them.
Okay, guys, we've got a stream, a DJ stream from the big homie, Controller of Minds, as you see up there. If you, dear listener, would like to know how to be a DJ, well, we'll let you know at some other point. Having said that, the first song in this review...
Right, let me just read his little thing here. The first 3 are all songs from albums that ended up on my top 25. Well, this is his first stream ever by himself, so this is his overall information. First 3 songs are all songs from albums that ended up in my top 25 album list in 2021. The winner you've already reacted to, Ghosts of Atlantis, Third Pillar. The fourth and the last one is a special in that I dedicate it to my late grandfather, father's father, who died 5 years ago at the age of 96. Whew, 96. Old was his moon, his circle complete. There is, however, an overarching theme throughout all the songs. Perhaps you'll figure it out. It is also the reason for my chosen logo, the attachment. I've been careful about selecting only non-official videos. Okay.
Message me the logo.
I shall. I shall. If I see it here.
Okay, and we have all the lyrics. Do you have the lyrics on the thingamajiggy?
No, I couldn't find. He might have sent it to me just now. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Not the lyrics, but the picture. That's so funny.
All right, guys. So when you become a DJ, there's so many things that you can choose. Don't worry about that. I got the picture. I'm in his thing. So when you become a DJ, you get your nifty little picture. Well, that didn't work. I have to download it. You get your nifty little picture on the side that represents what the stream is about for you. Whoa. That's a pretty intricate...
That is so cool.
The passage of time, it looks like.
Yep.
I really got to focus on these lyrics. Did you get the lyrics down?
Let's see if he sent them. He sent a new message, so perhaps.
Here, click on lyrics. Okay, I got him. Okay, so the first song is Solitarian by Shadecrown. And we've got the song right here.
Wait, no, it wasn't supposed to be.
Or the Awakening. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Awakening. The Awakening by the bad Shadecrown. Let's go. Spooky. Hey! Whoa, very strong opening from DJ Controller of Minds. No, so this is that, you know, like European melodic death metal with with some synth on top of it, which I like synth if it's like salts, like used sparingly, which they did. They used it sparingly. They didn't make it. It's not like, like too much synth. I feel like it's techno with guitars, whereas this one was metal with synth, and that's what I like because I like the metal shit. Very strong, chuggy riff, and the riff that followed the chorus was, I was looking at the comment section. People were saying, "Man, this is a sad song." I mean, obviously, you can see the lyrics right there. So, lyrically, it's a sad thing to behold. But then when the riff on the chorus, was minor key. It was minor key, and it was sad, but it was fast paced. So it was kind of like you don't stay in depression kind of thing. Very, very interesting. These guys are from Finland. And these guys rock, man. A very, very strong opening. Very strong opening.
I thought.
What did you think sonically?
Sonically, it was very interesting. His vocal style took a little bit for me to get used to. But then once I had moved into the understanding of where the direction of the song was going, then everything kind of just fell into place. Like even at the beginning when he said, "I despise myself right now, but there's nothing I can do," it didn't feel like it rhymed with anything. And so I was like, what's happening here? And but then as the song continued on, like sometimes maybe it's intentional, maybe it's not, but the way that like it wasn't really rhyming or the vocal style and stuff, but then once you get into what the song's about, it's like, well, you know what, that all makes sense whether or not he planned it or not, that you would do the song that way.
The other thing is, I'm not sure English is these guys' first language.
Probably not.
Which is always one of the craziest things to me is that when you speak the dominant world language, you know what I'm saying, like you don't really appreciate how amazing it is, one, that people can speak your language, and two, people can sing your language. Actually, singing is actually probably easier than speaking the language because you have the music to kind of help you.
Yep.
But to make music when it's not your first language, holy smokes. Okay, so lyrically... So again,
it's a very relatable song. I think
I'm kind of proud of myself because I picked up on this. You see, there's like time, there's like a clock, and then there's like a highway. I wonder if Controller made this himself or if he saw this on a whatever you call it. But either way, we were just in an escape room.
Looks like an album cover.
We were in an escape room in which we did horribly, and it was about the passage of time and things like that.
We really did.
So it reminded me of that.
This song had the passage of time as part of it, but it's that, that focusing on, once again, I'm tormented by these poisonous thoughts, by 1,000 shadows that lurk in the deep. In the ocean of mistrust, I want to disappear. I despise myself right now, but there is nothing I can do. It has taken control, never wanted it to be this way. I have lost myself again. Forgotten sorrows, anger, and despair. Suddenly I recall it all too well. Silenced echoes of a past life. I've lost myself again. When this song was going on, I honestly... There's a certain homeless person that, I see around town, and I wonder, like... A lot of... They have stories, Where were they? What led them to this situation? And, sometimes things are out of their control, but sometimes things are in your control and you made decisions to put you in the situation that you're in. And then there's the whole regret that goes along with that. And when he said, forgotten sorrows, anger, and despair, suddenly I recall it all too well.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. Like, you and I have this kind of running conversation where you say nothing takes you by surprise because it's always in your mind. Like sad things that have happened in your past or whatever, like it's there. So nobody surprises you. Like trigger words don't trigger you because you don't push something and not think about it.
Yeah.
Where I'm not like that. I'll push something so far from my direct consciousness that something will happen and all of a sudden it reminds me of that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it can, that can be its own.
Well, the thing is that, and we were watching this again yesterday, is that the brain, the mind, whatever you want to call it, which at this point, I don't even know what anything is anymore, to be honest with you. But from my vantage point, it seems that your mind does that already.
Pushes stuff?
Yeah, like you don't remember everything that happened in when you were like 5.
No.
And you
I don't remember barely anything.
And nobody remembers all the trauma that they felt in their life,
Right.
at once either.
Right.
So I was listening to this guy on Christian radio one time, and he was saying these horrible moments would pop up in his mind, like, from his past. And he was saying, well, it didn't happen yesterday, and it didn't happen the day before. So why did it all of a sudden randomly pop up? And he was saying, that's because God wants me to deal with this specific fragment of this specific painful period in my life. And so he said, oh, okay, well, now it's time to deal with that thing. So my point is, your mind, or whatever that we think consciousness is, already suppresses that stuff, and then it'll bring it up to you, in pieces, for you to deal with it in pieces. So when we actively try to suppress that, the mind is like, yo, I already did that. And now it's time for you to actually, engage with it and deal with it and engage with God with it. It's kind of similar to what you were saying, that Jordan Peterson clip where Peterson was talking about.
I was literally just going to bring him up.
Go ahead, Sid. We're probably talking about the same thing.
He was saying something. Well, I stopped thinking about what I was going to think about so I could hear what you were saying. So go ahead.
Well, it's like, where do these thoughts come from?
I do remember.
Go ahead.
Said he was talking about how like that there's a part of your consciousness that knows what you need to move from the current place that you've kind of found yourself stuck in. You yourself know how to move from that place, but sometimes we're unwilling to do what needs to be done. And so there might be something that kind of just keeps popping up. And he was saying, like, this thought comes out of nowhere, but he couldn't really understand where the thought comes from. Is it like a portion of yourself? Sometimes your own thoughts surprise you. Why does this happen? And, he kind of threw out some answer of what he thought it was. But the idea that you kind of know.
The void.
Yeah. That's one way of explaining it.
Which I completely understand.
Yeah, why he would come up with that. But that there's a certain thing that I feel that for me to get, I think you're either on a journey of getting more healthy or getting more sick. It's one or the other. And there's one thing that I feel like is the next step on me, like, growing. And for some reason, it's not a very difficult thing, but I keep finding myself refusing to do this one simple thing. And so today I was like, for whatever reason I keep avoiding this, I'm not going to avoid it. And instead I went and did this thing. And I'm like, now I have to consistently do this thing and create a new habit about this thing. But he's just saying, like, that you kind of know. And obviously as Christians, we believe that God is kind of whispering that into the consciousness of people of what you need to do to move forward. And I don't even know if that's true in all cases, that people know. Or maybe you have this thought to get help or to call, maybe it's something like that. I don't know if people, what do you think about that? Do you think that people, I don't know how bad can get, because I know that when I've been he said, once again, I'm tormented. I know when I've been in a place where I feel tormented, I kind of think I did know, if I'm honest with myself, one thing that I could have been doing at least to help myself out. But do you think that's true of everybody? Do you think everybody kind of has an idea, or?
No, I don't think everybody has an idea. I don't have an idea most of the time. So, I don't. Sarcast in the house. It's not about running from the mind. It's about letting the impulses pass. It's to not the mind lead you, but to lead the direction that your thoughts take. Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in that. I think a lot of it though is, this thing pops up in your head, and there's really no explanation for it. Because like I said...
Negative or positive thing?
Well, negative or positive. Like, a memory pops up in your head that surprises you. You weren't thinking about it. You were, I don't know, making eggs for breakfast, and then boom, this thing pops in your head. We've all experienced this phenomena. And, we don't need to get into the scientific minutiae of why that happens, because there's really no explanation for it. You just have to, okay, what do you do with it? Right? Mm-hmm. So those thoughts automatically carry with it that emotional baggage, that emotional memory, especially if it's a negative one. And then you got to decide what you're going to do with that. And a lot of us immediately, because we're so trained in the Western world to always be comfortable, and comfort equals good and discomfort equals bad, thought pops into our head, and whatever the universe, God, your primary self and your second self, whatever you want to call it, is trying to tell you it's time to deal with this little fragment of trauma. We're trained anytime that you feel pain or any type of suffering, get out of there. And so we suppress it. And what I'm saying is your mind has already suppressed that for you because your mind knew that you couldn't deal with it at that time. I'm just using mind as a placeholder. Whatever that mysterious mechanism is that yesterday didn't make you think about that thing that happened when you were 5 versus today, now all of a sudden it's flashed into your head. That's because your mind said, okay, they can't deal with it yesterday. But now you can deal with it, so deal with it. But then you suppress it, and now you're in this fight with this, you're a fractured person because one part of your consciousness is trying to bring it to the forefront. Wow. Another part of your consciousness is trying to suppress it. Your other consciousness is saying, yeah, but we've already suppressed this. Like, that's why you haven't been thinking about this 24/7. But now, because you've aimed yourself at fighting this memory or whatever that means, now you're never going to get better. And now it's going to be the thing that you're obsessed about. Because if I say, don't think about the pink elephant, and you tell yourself, I'm not going to think about the pink elephant, I'm not going to think about the pink elephant, then that's the only thing you're going to think about. And I think that's a lot of the reasons why a lot of us, I mean, I'm no doctor, but I think it's a reason a lot of us can't get over those things. And the other thing about trauma is sometimes you traumatize yourself by the bad things that you've done. So you've done, let's say you did something and you completely screwed up a relationship, and then, and you know that those negative reactions from your significant other or your friends or whatever are because of something that you did. And instead of dealing with that, when that pops up, boom, you're gonna push it away, and it puts you in a never-ending cycle. You're never gonna get out of it from that perspective, I think.
What do you think about when your mind, like, I think that there's times where your mind kind of brings like one thing, but then your mind sometimes will just keep like basically piling on you. This, and then you almost feel like you're going to have a breakdown. Yeah. And for me, like I've always said, our worldview is extremely convenient because when you look at, if you look at the lyrics, this guy's tortured. A lot of it is by the things that he's done as well. And when he says past lives, I don't think he's necessarily talking about past lives in like a Buddhist sense or something like that. Sarcasm is in the house, and maybe did he say lives? Where I see life, silenced echoes of a past life.
Yeah, or a past life. It's the same thing. Like I don't think he means it in like the literal sense.
Oh,
but,
yeah, no, I didn't think so either.
There are epics or periods in your life where you're like, oh, that's when, for us it was, we used to call it by where we lived because we moved around so much. It's like that was the gantry era, that was the, that was the country gardens era, whatever. You have periods of your life where like this was your life, but now your life is completely different. And sometimes that change is good, but in this song, it seems that the change wasn't necessarily the best in the sense of what he wanted. It looks like he lost something, which then generated a bunch of distrust because he talked about mistrust, distrust in the song, and now all this stuff is beneath the surface. And I think the author of the song has been constantly suppressing it, and the way that he's dealing with it now is through the music.
Absolutely.
Which is why you get a lot of artists who they say, look, mind or God or universe, whatever you want to say, I can't deal with this by myself. I'm going to channel it through music. And the music helps to face those things like head on. And then when you get on stage and your fans shoot it back to you, go, okay, I'm not alone in this. I'm not the only one that's dealing with it. And so it becomes something that's really cathartic if you can master that situation and find some way to make peace with it. Especially if you're the one who screwed something up. Yeah. You got to find a way to make peace with yourself. Obviously for us, it's like, well, you were born that way. And so you were born to screw up. So if you screw up, don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself a little bit of leeway. Give yourself a little bit of grace because you were born to screw up and that's all you were going to do. So be a little bit nicer to yourself and then ask for help in getting better. That's our kind of framework. We have this sort of insulation and fail safes from our mistakes. I do think you can get there even without a Christian worldview, but obviously Christian worldview is massively convenient.
It makes it easier.
Yeah, it's very, very convenient.
When he says, I'm still the one you know, is he talking to himself or someone else?
I think maybe he did something to someone that kind of, he maybe betrayed them.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
And you know
thinking.
how people, they're like, I don't even know who you are anymore. And
Yep.
he's like, well, I'm still the same guy. I just made a mistake type of thing.
Well,
See what I'm
he
saying?
said, I'm still the one you know, but something wicked lives inside of me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, this has been a running theme all the time. It's like, I'm still the guy you know. I'm still a good guy, but there's something inside of me that's wicked. And that's the you know, Paul says it this way. It's not, you know, if I do what I do not want to do, it's no longer I who do it, but sin living in me. And so Paul actually disassociates himself so much from his sinful nature that he says it's not even me doing it.
Yeah.
When he says it's not me doing it, what he's saying is that is not my ultimate and complete design or will. Mm-hmm. If I could, I would be a perfect person. Mm-hmm. So it's this principle of sin living in me that's making me do this. And he's saying, look, I'm a you know, the guy that you fell in love with, or the friend that you fell in love with, because we fall in love with our friends. I'm that guy. It's just there's also something in me that caused me to do this, and now you don't trust me anymore, and all the rest of it. I think it's a very, very honest song. It's deep. It's really, really deep. It's a good song. Mm-hmm. What do you give it?
You go first.
This song is a solid. This is a really, you know, it's like the albums, or when you when you go to a rock show, they always got to start off with like a good banging song to get the crowd up. So I feel like this is no different. 9.8.
Oh, wow. 9.15 for me.
Shout out to Delaney. All right, dear listener. We got another song coming your way. Sit tight. Be patient. If you're in YouTube world, don't worry about it. We'll check you again at 11 or 3 p.m. EST Eastern Standard Time. Having said that, dear listener, Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Gone.